Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be doing a review video on the brand new e.l.f. Matte for Matte Holy Smokes palette. This is a brand new launch at the drugstore from e.l.f. and I recently got my hands on it and I've been playing around with it for the past few weeks now, and I decided to sit down and review this palette with you guys, tell you my thoughts, and give you guys swatches of all the shades. So e.l.f. is a very affordable drugstore brand. Their products range from around like $3 to probably like $15, so very affordable. And recently I feel like the drugstore is just coming out with so many new products. If you look back, even like a year ago, there weren't that many matte eyeshadow palettes on the market. I know e.l.f. was one of the first brands to release a all matte eyeshadow palette at the drugstore, and that was their original matte for matte, which is this one right here. And this one, if you've been following me for a while, has been one of my holy grail palettes. I use it all the time. This is what this looks like right here. I do have a separate video on this palette where I review this one and swatch it and everything like that for you guys. This one just has been a ride or die product for me. I always use it on continuous basis, day to day. So when I heard that they were coming out with a new matte for matte, I got very excited. A lot of brands at the drugstore are starting to come up with all matte palettes. It's kind of the new trend. I know e.l.f. also released a matte for matte 2. Now that one released last year and I wasn't able to get my hands on it. It was out of stock when I went to the e.l.f. store recently, but I was able to get their brand new Holy Smokes matte for matte palette. So this is what this looks like right here. So as you can see, it is a smoky palette. I did use it to create this eye look today. I went really dramatic with the smoky eye, obviously, but you can use these shades however you want. You don't have to use them to create a smoky eye necessarily. Like, I've used these colors right here, like these neutral tone browns, on an everyday basis to create a very natural look. So overall, the shades are really nice. I will do a little bit of a comparison with the two palettes. So up on top is the Matte for Matte Original, and on the bottom here is the Matte for Matte Holy Smokes palette. As you can see, there is a difference. This one right here does have more deeper smoky shades, and you still have those warm transition shades in both the palettes. So overall, I'm really obsessed with the formula of this eyeshadow palette. I have always been, as I said, a big fan of the e.l.f. Matte for Matte, and I was very excited to see that after playing around with this, the formula is the exact same consistency. It's not different, which I was really happy about. Matte eyeshadows are kind of hard to get right. They can be very powdery, cause a lot of fallout, not blend well. So there are very few matte shades that I really enjoy out of especially drugstore palettes, just because there's not that many of them. The formula on these is really good. I did use them to create this eye look. I have been playing around with this particular palette for a few weeks now, but the original matte for matte I've had for years now, and I just love so much. So let's talk about the formula. So these eyeshadows are very pigmented, but they are buildable. So especially with this black shade, so I do have it on my lid here, kind of like blended out into the crease, but this matte black is not like a straight up black pigment. So I will show you what I mean, and you guys will see all of them swatched in the swatches of this video. So you can see very pigmented, but it is not a straight up black. So these shadows are buildable, which I do enjoy. It makes it just a little bit easier to work with, especially with these darker smoky shades. You don't want to take a brush dip in and then go in on the eye and not be able to blend out that shade. So I feel like it has enough pigment, but it still gives you the option to blend it out and kind of diffuse that color. I know some people might argue that this palette has very powdery eyeshadows, which can be true. Like, I will show you. Let's just dip into a shade right here. So it does give a little bit of powder, as you can see when I tapped off my brush, but I feel like that's really common to any matte eyeshadow because they have that more of a soft formula. Now these are not super powdery where you get powder everywhere and you get a bunch of fallout under the eye. I did my eyes after doing my face makeup today and I didn't have any fallout under the eyes right here, so I would say that they are powdery enough to the point where you can blend them. but they do not cause fallout or anything like that. And really the biggest tip I have with that is just to tap off your brush after you dip into the shadow and you'll be fine. So I don't think that's a problem for me, and letting you guys know if any of you out there don't like when eyeshadows are powdery, just tap off your brush and this palette will work amazing for you. So what I love most is that this palette gives you the perfect range of eyeshadows for a smoky look. So you have a nice matte white shade right here, which I use on my brow bone and to set my eyelid after primer and stuff. So it gives you that like nice matte white shade. And then you have a few transition shades right here. Now what I found really unique about this palette was this gray shade right here. I haven't really seen a gray eyeshadow in a eyeshadow palette before, especially, you know, more of your everyday type of eyeshadow palettes. So this was really unique to me and I find it very, very cool. Of course, these shades I gravitate to are these four right here. They're just my perfect natural everyday brown shades. I used these two shades in my transition today and they blended out and worked out beautifully. And then of course you get your smoky shades right here. I do like that you have two pops of colors, a green and a blue shade right here, which can be easily used in the lower lash line or all over the lid or anything like that. And then you have this darker like gray charcoal brown shade, which is kind of an off black, I would say. And then you have your black, which as I said, again, it's not a pitch black, but it is buildable. So what I love most is that this palette gives you the perfect range of eyeshadows for a smoky look. So you have a nice matte white shade right here, which I use on my brow bone and to set my eyelid after primer and stuff. So it gives you that like nice matte white shade. And then you have a few transition shades right here. Now what I found really unique about this palette was this gray shade right here. I haven't really seen a gray eyeshadow in a eyeshadow palette before, especially, you know, more of your everyday type of eyeshadow palettes. So this was really unique to me and I find it very, very cool. Of course, these shades I gravitate to are these four right here. They're just my perfect natural everyday brown shades. I used these two shades in my transition today and they blended out and worked out beautifully. And then of course you get your smoky shades right here. I do like that you have two pops of colors, a green and a blue shade right here, which can be easily used in the lower lash line or all over the lid or anything like that. And then you have this darker like gray charcoal brown shade, which is kind of an off black, I would say. And then you have your black, which as I said, again, it's not a pitch black, but it is buildable. But I would say the absolute best thing about these shadows is how well, not only do they individually blend out well, but how they work together. Literally, each of these eyeshadows work so well in combination with each other. They just blend out so easily and they have this very smooth formula to them. You'll see in the swatches how smooth they glide on my hand and they just have this like buttery almost texture to them. So that's kind of my favorite thing about them, that they're just so easy to use on the eyes. I would say before actually trying this palette, my biggest concern was that the darker shades, like the darker shades right here, would be very patchy and I thought they'd be hard to work with on the eyes and get pretty patchy. And that is not the case at all. These are very smooth eyeshadows that blend out very, very easily. I would say the one that maybe has a little bit less blendability than the rest would be this blue shade right here. But with a little bit of extra blending, it looks the exact same as the others. But this one would just be the only one that I had to put in a little more work with. But the other shades all blend out really nicely and there's no patchiness whatsoever, which you will see in the swatches, of course. But overall, I was really impressed with the initial application of these eyeshadows. I also love the packaging of these e.l.f. palettes. They're super small and compact. As you can see, compared to my hand, they're very, very small. You get 10 eyeshadows and you get an amazing mirror in here. Like, I used this mirror to create my eyeshadow look today and it was just so easy. Like, I really, really do like the mirror in here. And you know, for 10 bucks you get 10 amazing eyeshadow shades. So I think the palette is really, really worth your $10 and you will definitely be happy if you are looking for an all matte, more smoky type eyeshadow palette. So now that I've kind of talked about the formula of the eyeshadows and my thoughts, let's get into the swatches. you guys could see kind of how they look and how pigmented they are and stuff. So I really wanted to review this palette for you guys to tell you guys kind of what it's about, because I haven't actually seen that many videos on the Mad for Matte Holy Smokes palette. I think it's amazing, and hopefully you guys try it out, and if you have already tried it out, let me know your thoughts on it. But yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope this video kind of helped any of you out there who are interested in purchasing this palette but are wondering if it's a hit or miss, and it's definitely a hit. I love it, and it's such an amazing palette, so I highly recommend it to any of you out there. But I hope you are having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.